this is Melanie. Welcome back to Crafting Chaos with Melanie. I hope everybody's doing good today. In today's video, we are going to finish up this little book. So this is the first one that I did. So let me show you what I've done, and then we're going to continue on. So this is the book that we started. This is the pre-made books from Craftreat, and I don't have the little pamphlet in here. I'm sorry about that, but I'll link them. I think somebody had told me that this style had sold out, but there are so many other styles. I do have a camera one. Hang on a minute. Let's see, I have bought more. I have the Matchbox camera I want to do. Here's the basic 8x8, so I need to do that one. And here's the frame accordion. I really want to do this one, the frame accordion suitcase. Isn't this pretty? I think I'm going to do live videos on these. I think these would be really good to do some live videos on. But I want to get these done because I think they would be great Christmas gifts. Okay, so the paper collection that I'm using was Sugar Plum Christmas by Foilo. I did link it in the last video at where I found it. This was very hard to find. This is a beautiful, I really wish they bring it back out this year because it's so pretty. But anyway, all right, so let's see, what side did I do? Yes, I went ahead and decorated this side. And what I did is I decorated all the tags, and I'm going to show you some tricks on doing these tags. Aren't these cute? And I use seam binding, different colored seam binding at the top. This is the pockets, actually a pocket and two belly bands. And what I did, I hope you see that, I did a continual pattern. I'm going to show you how to do that. A really neat trick to get this right every time. So let's put this back in here. All right. And on the waterfall, I did decorate the front just real simple. I haven't done anything else because I want to show you something that I want to do with the waterfall. And I did decorate the flap. So in today's video, we are going to continue on. I do have some scraps right here that I wanted to use. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so first things first, we want to decorate this front one. Now, I'm not putting any mats on this because this is thicker, and you don't want a lot of bulk with this because the closure on it. The closure is not going to allow a lot of bulk. If you think you might have a little bit of bulk, instead of using the closure that I'm going to show you, you could always use ribbon. I think ribbon would be very cute to just kind of loop around and tie. I think that would be very cute. So there's a lot of options. So let's just move on to this. All right, so let's see here. Where is my... Okay. All right, so let's measure this. This is, let me see. I moved my light so it wouldn't be, I don't know, can you see this? Let's see. Wow. Guys, I need to do something with lights. I hate that. Okay, we're just going to have to go with this. All right, so you want to measure this, and I know this is black, so I'm going to tell you what it is. It is 4 1/4 long, so I'm just going to write 4 1/4 by, I would say 3 1/4. Yep. So this is good for a 4x3 photo landscape. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to cut a mat down, and what I had these papers here for a reason. Here we go. These are the papers that I had right here. All right, so let's do this here because I think that would match that really cute. So we need 4 long and 3 high. So we got to go this way. So let me get my trimmer. Now, my other trimmer needs a blade. So I have my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios trimmer in here. So we're going to use this. Guys, I have a lot of trimmers. So it is what it is, right? And we're going to do 4. So 3 by 4 for the mat. And these are rounded, so I'm going to get my corner rounder. And what I found, instead of doing the 1/2 inch, I'm doing the 1/4 inch. And it seems to look better than the 1/2 inch. And I'm going to take my tape off of this right here. Guys, I got all the stuff in for the recipe album. I can't wait to do it. And I actually have something behind the scenes that I've been working on. I'm so excited to share it with you all. That's coming up in a couple weeks. I want it September, like kick it off September 1st on what it is, but we shall see. All right, so we got that. And what I'm doing is just making sure this is pressed down really good around that magnet. Now, we need to decorate this magnet. And I have this paper right here because it's long enough. I really like this paper, but I don't know if I like it with this. Let's see what else we got here. Now remember, we got scraps, and this is where your scraps come in. This is handy dandy right here. I love this one. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use this right here. So let's measure this out. This is, I want to say 5 1/4. It is. So it's 5 1/4 by 1. So we're going to do a mat that is 3/4 wide by 5 inches. So we're going to come in here. Let's just go ahead and do the 5 inches. No, let's just do the 1. Let's do the 1. Okay, the 1. Actually, that's supposed to have been 3/4 inch, not 1. So let's just fix this really quick. I hope I got that. And by 5. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Yep. And we need to do these edges. So we are going to do this with our corner punch. This is the We Are Memory Keepers. They are We Are Makers now. That's how old this thing is. You can tell by looking at how old this is. This is one of my oldest tools in my craft room. And this is when they first come out. That thing is old. But I love it. Alright, so let's just put that there. We probably could have went a little bit bigger than 3/4 inch, but I like that. That's good, right? Now remember what I showed you to make sure that you get that down. Now we got the back side here. It should be the exact same height. It is. So let's do another piece. So we're going 3/4 inch by 5. I can't stand when a trimmer frays the paper. I can't do it. That's why I have this one, because I do need a new blade on my other one because I use it all the time. And yeah, I need to find a blade. I need to look at Maymay's store because I'm sure that's where I will find it. All right. Let's just put this down. And okay. Now, see, this goes up. Remember, we have a little scored area. We have a scored area right here. So now we have to mat that. So I know I want it 3/4 inch wide, right? Yeah. And how long? Because I don't want to hit. I think we're going to do a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 on this one. Oh, here she is. Hello, kitty. Hey, baby. I literally just got home from work and she's not seen me. She was napping. I went in there to say hello to her and she was doing her regular nap. All right, let's go over here to 3/4 inch. So basically this is a 3 by 4. So let's see if this works. I hope I didn't mess this up. I didn't. There we go. Perfect. Kitty. You just want to make sure you don't get it into the score line, and I did get it a little bit in that score, so let's come up a little bit. What are you doing, baby? Hi. Hi, you gotta get down. Come on. You gotta get down. All right, so let's bring that down. All right, come on, sweet kitty. Come on. Come on. There you go. All right, now we're going to come over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is build a scene right here. And let's see, did I have, was it this that I had? Yes, this is it. I think it's this one. I don't want to cut into any more of my big paper. Oh no, let's do that one. Yeah. Let's do this one. Okay, let me show you how we're going to do this. I don't think I want this one. I wish you guys could talk to me. I like that ho ho ho. But I don't like that it's going to cut those trees off. How much would it cut those trees off? A lot. Now let's use this one. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find out how wide this is, okay? So when you look at this, let me get a pokey tool or something similar to a pokey tool. We have 3 pockets right here, right? 1, 2, 3. So they're not the same width. These 2 are, and this one's bigger, but they are the same. They're not the same length, but they are the same width. I think that's how you'll say it. So let's see what the width is. It is 3 3/4. So we're going to cut down a sheet of paper at 3 1/2. Okay. So let's just do that. We're going to cut this down to 3 1/2 plus an 1/8. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. All right. Let's see here how that mats. Nope. I should have went with 3 1/2. I should have went with 3 1/2. Uh-oh. You hear my little bowl. This is my latest little Goodwill find. I love these little bowls. I find them at Goodwill, and I get them for my little trinkets on my desk. So, okay. Now, let's see what we got here. Let's see what these 2 right here measure, and these are 1 3/4, 1 3/4. So my first 2 are going to be 1 1/2. So what I want to do, I know this is going to go this way, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to put this in the trimmer here, and we're going to cut 1 1/2 for the top, and then we're going to come directly right here and do 1 1/2 again. And then the bottom is 2. So I'm going to come, what I'm going to do, I don't want to cut the 2 off here, because if I do, it's going to change the continual picture. I want this a continuous image, right? So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to cut this down to 2 inches. Correct? Yes. I'm going to cut this down to 2 inches. So the key to that is the last cut, you want to turn it. So you're cutting on the opposite end. That way, I hope that makes sense. That way, when you glue this in, you're going to have that continual, look at that. I hope you can, do you see that, where we have that continuation of that pattern paper? I love doing that as a design. I just think that's so pretty. It's such a good way to use your beautiful typography paper that we love, and a lot of times we just, you know, we hide it because it's so busy. But I really love taking paper with pretty typography and images and just lining that up the best that I can. It's not going to be perfect. But we don't do perfection here, right? Nobody's perfect. Okay, now the joy. So we're going to do the holly here, and there we go. And just like that, we have our pocket, and look at that. I love that. I love that. Now, I'm going to show you some tips with the tags. Let me get my tags here. Okay, these tags are all a different size. And I made templates for these because I had 2 sets of them. Actually, you have 4 sets because you're doing 2 albums. So you have 2 sets in each album. So what I did, this is so easy, guys. You want to take your tag and you want to measure your tag. So your tag, this longest tag is 6 by 3.5, let's say. Okay, so what I did is I took 1/4 of an inch off and cut a square. So what I did was cut a 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, you follow me? So I cut a square 1/4 of an inch shorter than what it measured. All right, so then to get this right here, let me show you what I did. I took a scrap sheet of paper. It doesn't really matter what it is. Let me just find a scrap here. And I put it just like this, right? So let's cut this off because I don't need that. I put it just like this and I cut those off. Right, so you just cut each side off, or you keep one. I've had one here, and watch it be gone now because I said that. Okay, so you have this. So then after you cut your square here, let's just do one. Let's do one. To me, you know, having these tips and tricks, it's important to show you all this. All right, so let's do. We said 3, so let's do 3 1/4. All right, by 5 3/4. All right, so this is how I'm getting the template. I'm getting the template, right? So then I made my little corner. You want to put your corner on one side. And all I did, I'm going to use an ink pen just so you can see this, okay? I'm not going to, well. So you're going to take this and you're just going to trim it or trace it. You're going to come over here and do the same thing. Okay? And you can do this on any tag. Anytime you're doing something pre-made, you can do this on anything. Now, you didn't have to make a template. I did because I'm doing it so many times. You could just do it on the pattern paper you want to do. And look at this. There we go. We got a perfect, almost perfect. It's a little off, but that's okay. Look at that. And that is how I do my tags on a pre-made album. So, we got 3 tags. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so we got this paper. I definitely want to use this. All right, let's see here. Can we get this twice? No. Yes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my template for this one, which is this one right here. And I'm going to trace this. Now, I need this twice. So, I'm doing one on the front. We're going to do another one. Okay, so let's just trim this out. Okay. Let's take this in here. We're going to trim this. Now, I will tell you, with this trimmer, I have a hard time getting it exactly lined up where it's supposed to be because of the blade. So, the way the blade runs. I think that's... Alright, so let's take this. Alright, so there's our first one. And then I'm going to take it here as close as I can. get it exactly. And then you're just going to take your trimmer or your scissors and you're going to cut that off. Boom, we got one side. All right, now let's do this side. I've got it cut. Let's just try to line this up the best that I can. Oh, I did pretty good on that one. Okay, so now we're going to trim this and trim that. And I see a little bit of the so now we have this. Let's find the middle one here. So we're going to put the middle one, these on the middle one, just like this. Okay, so the middle one's done. I'm just going to put this here using my magnet. Oh, God, that's so cool. All right, let's go with this big one. We're going to go with the green here. Right? Does it? Oh, this is perfect. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right, so let's do this one. We're just going to trim this up, trace this up, and we're going to go here, 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 and then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing, right? Yeah. See, I think whenever you're doing albums like this, all these little tips that someone shows you, they are just perfect little tips that you can use throughout your album making, you know, especially pre-made, because a lot of times we get pre-made and, you know, you have these tags and stuff and you're like, this is really hard to mat. So it's really fun when you can find a way to get around that to give you the confidence to mat stuff. And that's exactly what Lisa from Lisa Wise Designs showed me in a video, was how she matted that slotted pocket, you know, that slant pocket. Wow. Like, it changed the game for me. I'm so excited because now I feel like I can do it, and I did it, and it doesn't stress me out. So, you know, everybody's not going to know everything, but a lot of people will know a little bit. And then when you put all that information together from what you get from all these creatives, man, you can do anything. That's what I love about this crafting community. I love it. I'm going to turn this off just a little bit right there because, all right. All right, so so this one's going to go like that on that one. All right, now we got one more left. Let's see what we got here in the good old scrap pile. We have this. So we got this. I definitely want to use that. And then we have this. So will both these work? They will. So there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's how I do these. I just find what I have already cut. Uh-oh. This is not what I wanted to use. Oh, I hope I didn't do that mistake on this one. Did I do that? Did I mess up, y'all? You're watching me. Did I mess up? Yep, I did. I got to redo these. Shoot. See? See what happens, y'all? See what happens? We're doing this one. Okay, let's start over, shall we? Shall we start over? This is why I made the templates. I get to talking to you guys like you're here, and I just go on my willy-nilly way, not paying attention to what I'm doing. And you know what? I do that too. Guys, I'm so scatterbrained. I don't know how many of y'all are going through menopause right now. I feel like I know a lot of women going through menopause right now. I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling. Mentally, it's really taken me for a loop. Sometimes I feel like I'm literally losing my mind. All right, we're going to come in here. I have to do this a little bit different now. Where I messed up, I want to make sure I center this. I can't just... I do. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I forget things. I go to do something and I forget what I went to do. My mind has so many things going on in it right now. Like right now, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about the recipe album. I'm thinking about the cat that we're cat setting for. Max is in the next room, and I'm like, do I need to let Max out? And this is what's going on in my brain right now. I can't forget to start the salmon for Craig. Da 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 da. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel crazy. All right, so let's do this again. Let's do this again. We're almost done, y'all. There's just not a lot to the decorating of this album. There really isn't. All right. Okay. I wonder, was anybody screaming at me? Sheila, are you watching this? Was you screaming at me just now saying, oh, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. All right. We'll trim everything off at the same time. Okay. Anybody else got this trimmer? I like this trimmer. I like it. I like it better when I'm measuring and cutting. I don't like it as much as cutting out like specific lines. Sometimes I find it hard to do. So I'm sure that's just me. Let's see. And let me show you one thing. You don't have to raise this thing up because it's actually made to where the paper slides under it. That's one thing that Tim Holtz wanted. And I love the feature, but guys, I raised the other trimmers up so much that I don't use it. Isn't that crazy? All right. All right, here we go. Probably going to have one more video, two more videos. I'm going to do a video recap. Actually, I might do this as a short. I want to finish out this collection with all these scraps and make some Christmas cards. I'm going to do that as soon as I'm done with this video. And then I'm going to be doing a video probably today as well on what we are using for our what we're using for our recipe book. I did get everything in. I'm so excited about this. Like I said, it's going to be a bigger one. Yeah, it's going to be nice. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get all our tags over here. Guys, we're about done, I promise. I get to crafting and I have fun. Okay, if you see, I do have some pencil marks on here. So let me get an eraser here. This is my Mono sand eraser. I'm just going to lightly do that because the sand eraser it will go into your paper if you're not careful. I didn't ink any of the edges in this album, which is actually kind of different for me because I'm an inker. I like inking the edges. Okay. I think it would have been pretty to ink the edges in like a green, a mint green. I think that would have been so pretty. Okay. All right. So let's get these glued on real quick. All right. So got this, this, and this. Okay. All right, now, another little trick with this, whenever you have a pre-made hole already, you can do one of two things. You can do it this way, which is how I normally do it. I put my piece of paper on, then I flip it over, and I get my hole punch, and I punch it. Okay? To me, that's the most effective way to get it even. Or you could just put it on and, you know, punch a hole with a pokey tool or something like that and then go back and punch it. I like doing it this way. I think it's more precise. And I just like doing it this way. So, I'm going to do that again. Well, are my cats fighting? Sweetie, leave Kitty alone. All right, so you got that one. All right, let's go here with this one. This does have what do I do with that? Oh well. We'll do it here in a minute. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and do the same thing. We're going to punch that hole in it. This is We Are Makers. I got this years ago too. This is heavy. I use it because it has all the punches in it, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's not my most loved. I wish there was another, maybe there is another thing out there that's not as heavy and bulky and hard to store. Like, I think this is hard to store. I don't know. It's just not one of my favorite tools. Although I use it all the time, it's just not one of my favorites. Did you hear that? All right. Okay, and then we're going to do the hole. I messed that one up a little bit. That's okay. I am not going to stress about that. Okay. All right. I'll put that up. Guys, that thing I don't like. I'm just not a lover of that. All right, so now bring your book over and let's figure out how we want to do these. I want to do that there, like that. And why is that not going in? There we go. That was in there fine earlier. Well, guys, you see what happens? There we go. Okay, next one we're going to use, oh, we got to use that pink. Now see, this is what, you know what, I think what we need to do is do this one. Let's do this one first. Then we're going to come in here with this one. Remember, we had this problem earlier. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to come in here with this one, and then we're going to come in here with this one. So go from the top to the bottom. All right, let's trim this off a little bit. It seems like it's a little bit too big. And I don't understand. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, I have some seam binding. Here we go. And we are going to go 2 pinks. So 2 pinks. And 1 blue. I get my seam binding from my Crafty Cabin, my Scrap Cabin on Etsy. I love her seam binding. She has any color imaginable. I'll link her. I use this all the time on my tags. I love it. Okay, so we have that one. And all I'm doing is putting this in here like this. this a little short. All right, let's put this in. I didn't want them crazy long. And these tags, you can do whatever you want. You could do little 2x3 photos. You could do your little cute photos that I use all the time. All right, so there's that. Let's move on to the pocket. All right, all I'm doing on this pocket is we are taking 2 cut aparts, and I want to use these 2 right here. So I'm going to cut these 2 cut aparts out together. What we're doing is making a little booklet. So let's take this down here. I'm going to put this over to the side, and I'm going to flip it. And we're going to do this. And then we're going to do these 2 right here. So by doing it this way, and taking an edge, you can score. But what I do on these, I just line it up like that. And look, this is what I got. And this says, celebrate the season of magic. And then you have a little place that you can do that. So I'm going to switch these because I've already made one from the other side. So you do 2 of these. I'm going to do Sweet Holiday and Celebrate the Season. There we go. Okay, now let's do the closure. This is your closure, right? Let's see what we got here. I'm going to do this before we put it on. So the first one from the score line down is 3 by 1 1/4. All right, so 3 by 1 1/4. Let's go right here. 3 by 1 by 3. Okay, I done messed up. No. No, it's 3. 1 by 3. 1 1/4. So this first one, I want to do 1 by 2 3/4. So this is going to be 1 by 2 3/4 twice, because you're going to see it. And then I need 2 of these, just 1 of each. So this one is going to be 2 3 or 1 inch by 3/4. And then we got 1 inch by, and this one's probably going to be like a half. Yeah, a half. All right, so we need to cover this up. I'm coming over here to my scraps because this is where my scraps come in. And what we got on the front. All right. No. I really, 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 really like this. I love that, but no. Nope. We have so much of this. I just don't like it though to use it for what we want to use it for. So I said 1 inch. Oh, this is exactly 1 inch. All right, we're going to use that. So I need 1 inch by 3. And then I need 1 inch by 1/2 inch. Right? 1/2 inch and 3/4. I need 1 more, and it's the back, and I really don't care. I'm going to put this right here. I'm fine with this. So this needs to be 1 inch, which I believe it's exactly 1 inch. Pretty much is by 3. No, by 2 3/4. All right. need 2 magnets. Got 2 magnets. Okay, let's move this here. All right. So let's take this and we're going to put glue on these 2 places right here. Now, you could use sticky tape again. That is up to you. I am using my art glitter glue. I've never had a problem with my art glitter glue. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Uh-oh, did I mess up? Yeah, I did. Alright, we're going to have to go ahead and cover that up. I do need 2 sheets on that. Alright, so you're using your last score mark. Guys, I can't find a towel. Okay, so let's use this last. Okay. Now, this is where. Alright, so we're going to put our first magnet right here. We're going to put it right there. I'm just putting it on there. Alright. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put a little bit of sticky tape. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just put quite a bit. That way, that's too long. Put some sticky tape. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down while I'm here. And it's going to be the back. So, this is the fun part, isn't it? Okay. And I forgot, I need to round the corners. Now remember, on rounding these corners, 1/4 of an inch, you do not want to use your 1/2 inch because it's just too much. Alright, there we go. Alright, now let's bring this over and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. Okay, so we have everything on there. Now, this part's important. Alright, so now we have this magnet. I'm going to put that one on there. And we're going to figure out the placement of this magnet. So what I want to do is I want to fold this over and I want to make sure that I have it straight. I want to make sure that it's not crooked. Alright, so let's put some glue on this. That way I get a good placement. Actually, let's just get a glue dot. I am getting a glue dot, which is not going to stick on that because of the glue. Oh my goodness, y'all. There. Okay. Now, we're going to bring this up. You're going to bring this over. There we go. That's a pretty good placement. Pretty good placement of that. All right. You see? We got it on there. All right, we still need that part. Oh, Lordy. And we got it. So we need 1 inch. What was that? 3 3/4 or 3/4 of an inch? Yeah. All right. One inch by 3/4 of an inch. All right, there we go. This is my favorite piece of paper in that whole collection. I wish I could buy that in the single sheets because I totally would. I love it. I love doing a pink Christmas card. I've always loved doing pink Christmas cards. And I don't have that on the right way. Oops. Okay, that's not working. We're going to have to cut that off some more. Y'all, I messed that up. It needed to be 1 inch. That's where I messed up. 1 inch. All right. I'm just showing you everything. I'm showing you everything. Like, yes. Yeah, 1 inch by 3/4. There we go. It's pretty perfect there. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And then right here, we've already got it made right there. Okay, now we just get to have some fun with stickers. All right, so we have to cover this up, right? We have to cover this up. So, I love this jolly. I think this jolly is so cute, and I want to cut this jolly out. And I feel like I don't have that. I have it here on the sticker, but I don't want it. I want this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to cut this out. Okay. Or we could have done this. Oh, I like that. Change of plans. Change of plans. We're going to use the jolly, just not right there. We're going to keep this simple. Simple, simple, simple. So let's do this cut apart. And we're going to glue this cut apart down. Whenever you have a paper collection, guys, it's just so easy. Everything goes together. All right, now let's get that glue going. And we got that glue going. I love this. This is off a little bit. That's driving me crazy, but it'll be all right. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up. And I want this jolly somewhere, so I'm going to cut this jolly out. Actually, I'm going to use the jolly on Christmas cards. Alright, so here I made a scene, so let's just make a scene. Let's use this drummer. Love that drum. And then in front of the drum, we are going to have the blue little mint candy. So let's bring that over here like that. And then we got open. Look, isn't that pretty? Oh, I love this. And there we go. And then this right here, I'm going to leave this right here. Oh, look, I do have that jolly. Perfect. This is for pictures. Look at that. All right, guys, I'm going to call that done. You can decorate this as much as you want. Here's the first one. I found the tag. This tag was MIA, so I have to go back and fix that tag. So, tag has been found. All right, guys, remember to give me a comment on tell me what you like. I feel like this may have been a hot mess of decorating, but you know what? It's okay. It is okay. Because sometimes things are a hot mess. Marry everything. I feel like I messed that up. I think I might redo that when I get off here. Okay. Here we go. There you go. There's the 2 albums. I don't know which one I like best. I think this one turned out better symmetrical on the front because this is off a little bit, and I'm probably going to go back and fix this because it's going to drive me crazy. But overall, I like them both. I think I like the paper on the craft better than the black. So I guess that would be my question. What color do you like this paper on better? Do you like it on the craft or do you like it on the black? Leave me a comment and let me know. I will be drawing for these probably the 1st of September. September is my 2-year anniversary of really starting this channel. And also, I have over 3,000 subscribers. I would love to hit 4,000 by the end of the year. But September, we're going to be doing a lot of celebrating. We're going to be celebrating 2 years. We're going to be celebrating 3,000 subscribers. And there's going to be a lot of giveaways. So make sure you stay tuned. If you have any crafty friends, share my channel. There's going to be a lot of videos coming up between now and January because we're in the season. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Until next time. Bye.